Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm gonna be giving you what if Naruto was created from the Mokuton cells and all Kage's DNA, part 5. Remember to get this one too, 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. If you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, yes, I indeed have 4 more channels which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. In fact, I post a brand new series over on Anime King 2. What if Naruto was a child of the Bijus and the Sage of Six Path? So go ahead, check out that, and yeah, enjoy. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So without further ado, or wasting any more time, how about we jump right into this new episode? Begin now, guys. So, the last part we left off. It turns out that it was Mikoto who revealed the information to Naruto. What she did could get her exiled from her own clan for revealing such sensitive information, but she knew that he would be able to change the outcome of all of their deaths. And he did so. She was beyond grateful to him as she hugged him. When Sasuke came outside, he was gone though. Years passed after that, as we found a well-known drug dealer and also trafficker sitting down when Naruto came inside. Both of them had a discussion. The man wanted to run his business within the land of fire, and he was going to pay Naruto off. However, he was not here for that. He was here for his execution. He soon come to realize as both of his guards were killed immediately. Naruto just wanted to get into his operation, which his root ninjas had done over the past couple of weeks that they've been having their discussion. And now that he was in his operation, Naruto completely took it over. Naruto did not like to exploit kids, so all of the kids that didn't have a home to return to, he brought them into his root organization. As for the root, it has changed over the couple of years that flew by like that. Danzo had caused countless of his root ninjas to die because of certain rules of not having emotion. However, Naruto changed up that rule. He made sure they understand the betterment of their fellow man. And so far, over the couple of years, he has only lost a handful of root ninjas. And they've been going on missions that normal Konoha ninjas can never even dream to go on. So yes, Naruto was becoming a better all leader than Danzo. However, there were certain things that Naruto could not even tell Hiruzen, certain operations that he began, certain things that he's done. He understand there were certain things that Danzo had to do, and Hiruzen could not be involved because of the view on Konoha and him being the leader. So yes, Naruto had many things going on, and many people did not know about those things that were taking place behind the scenes. Naruto was also a part of the council now. For one was his new weapon system for Konoha. His new unveiling shocked many of them, as Fuinjutsu was never Konoha's big and main priority, but because of Naruto that has changed greatly. He also changed Konoha barrier for the better. The barrier was a lot more state of the art and vastly more powerful as well. The barrier team even reported Naruto on certain problems that they might face. Yes, he's become a big figurehead within Konoha. many people finding out that he's alive. However, it wasn't just the inside find out. Outside also found out as well. The masked man that tried to put an end to Naruto all those years ago. But not only him, Orochimaru found out that his creation was still with them. Orochimaru intended to get his hands on Naruto one way or another, and he had several plans that would allow him to accomplish that feat. Naruto had also sent over someone to be placed on Team 7 under his behalf to keep the children safe just in case. After all, his sister was on that team, and Sasuke was also on that team as well. So yes, he sent over someone specially trained. His name was Sai, as Naruto believed that he would do great on the team. As Sai was a bit nervous, but his older brother, the right-hand man of Naruto, his name was Shin, told him that he would do great. Some time passed as we skipped towards the household of Naruto. It was a rather large place. Outside we found Mito, but she was not alone. There was another Uzumaki there. Her name was Karen. Karen created a scroll as Mito pumped her Rasengan inside of it. They threw the scroll but the Rasengan dissolved. The both of them were working on something special to unveil, as they didn't quite reach to their goal just yet. As Naruto arrived, they tried to hide it from him to make him not see it, as Naruto simply smiled at the both of them as he made his way inside to see Reina Uzumaki. She was the older sister of Karen. The land of grass had been fighting against the land of trees. Reina had offered herself to the land of grass for them not to harm her sister after what they did to her mother. Naruto was going to get involved to end the war. However, he found out about them. Naruto did not spare anyone that harmed them, as he believed the Uzumakis to be connected to Mito, so he also saw them as someone that need to be protected. Naruto brought them here, and over the years they've pretty much warmed up to him and Mito quite well. As Reina was in charge of the Fuinjutsu class that Karen was a growing prodigy in. Karen wasn't a fighter, but she was a part of the growing, developing Fuinjutsu core of Konoha. Yes, the group was coming along fine. Another reason why Naruto was worthy enough to be placed on the council despite his young age. He's brought so much benefits and good changes for Konoha. It was amazing. Reina and Naruto then shared a kiss. As they broke apart, the girls weren't aware of this. This started up a few months ago, as both of them had been keeping it on the down low for the time being. However, they figure that it's about time that they told the girls what was going on, so they could know as well. After all, they were a family. We then skipped to Itachi and Naruto walking. Izumi was a part of their friend group as well, as both Naruto and Reina know that Izumi, like Itachi on the other hand, he has not made a move yet. We then skipped to Mito as she performed the exam. She passed with flying colors. However, Mizuki was planning on kidnapping her. It was his job from Orochimaru of the Sanin, as Orochimaru wanted Naruto to come to him. So what would be the better way than to go after his little sister that he cares so much about? However, he was tampering with one of the most dangerous person within Konoha, little sister, and that was going to be really bad for him. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the play check of yourself, and what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode begin now guys. Naruto had spoken to Mikoto. They were planning on taking the kids out as a little celebration gift, as they were now shinobis of the Hidden Leaf Village. So that is why Mikoto was not here just yet, as Itachi was there, along with Izumi and Naruto. As they waited, Mikoto was with Reina and also Karen as well. That is when the students started to exit the academy, as Sasuke made his way over, his headband proudly displayed on his forehead. He couldn't be any happier as he saw the group. As he walked up towards Itachi, he extended both of his fingers as he poked his own headband. Now that's not gonna work anymore, he said, with a smile on his face. I guess you're right, Itachi said, as he poked him in the chest. Ow, said Sasuke, causing Itachi to have a small, tiny smirk on his face. Izumi, giggling slightly, as Naruto looked toward Sasuke. Where's Mito, he said. She should be right behind. Sasuke blinked. She was not there. Why don't you guys go ahead, said Naruto. I'll bring Mito along. The group nodded as they departed, as Naruto walked past the students, many of them looking at him. His name had become quite popular around Konoha nowadays, as he walked throughout the school making his way inside. That is when he came across Mito's class. The only person inside was Aruka. Aruka, Naruto said. Ah, Naruto. I'm guessing you're here for Mito. Where is she? Aruka asked. I was about to ask you the same thing, Naruto said. Aruka looked confused by that. Naruto raised his hand, stopping the man as he closed his eyes. He placed his hand against the wall for a few seconds. He then opened his eyes. There was this look in his eyes that Aruka knew something was off. What's wrong? She's nowhere around here, said Naruto. Aruka looked around, now getting concerned. Before any of them could say anything, a root ninja appeared outside of the classroom. Sir, he said, as Naruto stepped forward, as the root ninja whispered something to him. Naruto nodded, as the root ninja went away. It seems I'm going to have to cut this short, Aruka, he said. Do you know where she is? Is she okay? Aruka asked. Don't worry, said Naruto. She's just fine. Naruto was then gone in a flash. Naruto reappeared within the forest. Mito was being held by a masked Kunoichi, a member of his organization. They weren't surprised by his sudden flash in. After all, that is how he did most of his exits and appearing. Naruto walked over as the Kunoichi spoke. I've already checked over her, sir. She seemed like she was just hit in the back of the neck and placed unconscious. We caught these two trying to escape with her. Naruto had a protective detail. They changed shift every now and then, watching Mito at all times to make sure that she was safe. Not to mention the mark that was placed on her. Naruto proceeded to turn. His red eyes made the two culprits felt like they were looking at the devil himself. The amount of bloodlust that suddenly swallowed the era caused every single animal to go running for the hills. Birds took off flying away. Naruto stepped forward. The first person that his eyes laid upon was Mizuki. The man had a bruise on his cheek, his arms restrained behind him. Beside him was another. The man was trembling in fear, looking at Naruto. Naruto turned towards the other man. If he was not mistaken, his name was Kenji. Tell me, why did you try to kidnap my sister? Kenji was trembling as the words came out of his mouth. I was only following orders, he said. Mizuki turned towards him with a glare. But it was not as effective because there was too much bloodlust reeking from Naruto. He was the one that Kenjin was quieted as Naruto stepped into his face, crushing his nose, causing major bleeding. Naruto did not stop there though, as he picked the man up and slammed him into the tree that was close by. Mizuki was cowering in fear as Naruto pulled his fist back and slammed it in his face. Kenjin was screaming out in pain as Naruto punched him again and again and again. Naruto did not stop until the man's head was just a stain on the tree, as a headless body collapsed down to the ground as Naruto's fist was coated in blood. His cold, merciless red eyes looked down towards Mizuki, who had wet himself after seeing that the bloodlust had gotten too much for him. His body reacted on its own out of utter fear. Well, said Naruto as one of his root ninjas handed him something as he cleaned his hand off. Now that we know who was the mastermind behind this, Why don't we have a little chat, said Naruto, as he grabbed Mizuki. Time skip. Mito was slowly waking up. As she opened her eyes, where am I? She jumped to her feet. As she turned her head, she saw someone to the side. She pulled herself up. He had black hair. His eyes were dark as well, his skin was a bit pale. Who are you? She said. Oh, you're awake. Hello there. You may call me Sai, he said. Okay, Sai. Where am I? Tell me, what's the last thing you remember? I was leaving the academy, but Mizuki-sensei asked to speak to me about something. So we went to the other class and nothing. What happened? Well, he tried to kidnap you. He what? Wait, you said try. Yes, your brother was able to save you in time. My brother? But why would Mizuki? He seemed to be a traitor of this village. A traitor? But that doesn't make sense. Mizuki-sensei wouldn't do something like that. Unfortunately, he would, and he has. Your brother gave me specific orders for you to remain here until he returned to come and get you. Mito had a sad look on her face, as Sai noticed that. He wasn't about to tell her that. She had a squad watching over her, so the moment Mizuki knocked her out and him and his assailant tried to flee to the forest, they were immediately nabbed. Granted, the envoys were not within the classroom, so they couldn't do anything about that. But given this incident, he presumed that Naruto-sama was going to tighten security a lot more. Sai felt like there was a lot of weight on his shoulder. He was specifically trained and prepped to be a second watchful eye of Naruto-sama just in case anything bad happened while they were outside in the real world handling missions. But he would listen to what his big brother said to him. He was ready for this. He was prepared for this. Mito, on the other hand, she couldn't believe that this happened. She was feeling really bad and down for several reasons. Meanwhile, as Naruto was in the office, what? It was Hiruzen. She's fine now, said Naruto. I was able to get the information out of him. He was working for Orochimaru. It seems that the Sannin didn't have that much faith in him. Orochimaru did not reveal any other accomplice that he might have had, knowing that it would be much easier for him to break if he's ever captured. He only met him outside of the village, given the new increase in security with the seals that I've personally created, which he somehow knows about. Orochimaru will not enter in the village, but all the missions that he's taken outside of this village, he was able to meet with him. The Sannin wants for me to come to him, so that was his goal behind kidnapping my younger sister, said Naruto. What about the other one? I killed him, said Naruto. His tone was flat and calm. Hiruzen did not question Naruto on that, knowing that Naruto would have eliminated any flight risk. And Mizuki? Orochimaru expected him to make a move, to come towards a secret location outside of the village the moment that she was kidnapped. I had my agents check it out, but we missed the time frame. And now that that is gone, I believe the Sannin has cut all ties that he formerly had with Mizuki, so he's no longer useful, said Naruto. Hiruzen didn't even need to ask what that meant for Mizuki's life, as he knew what Naruto would have done in order to eliminate any threat or risk to national security. While they were having their little talk, the Sannin was furious. The man had one job, one single job, and he managed to screw it up. As he did not arrive at the rendezvous point, that meant he was captured. Orochimaru had thought for the future and made sure that he didn't know anything about his operation or anything that he had inside. Unfortunately though, Orochimaru only had one man on the inside, and that was his number 2, Kabuto Yakuji. one of his most trusted. However, there was a problem with that. Kabuto could not leave the village by his own will, because if he did, he would not be able to re-enter without being placed under lock. The security in Konoha has gotten so tight that escaping and returning was no longer an option. That is why Kabuto was playing the long con. He was a part of Konoha forces. Orochimaru had made sure that Kabuto had ingrained himself, given himself a background, a mentor, a father figure who had died, who teach him the art of healing. Yes, he was still a genin of the Hidden Leaf village, and soon enough, his information that he had on the inside would pay off rather well. That is what the Sanin thought. At the moment, Kabuto Yakuji was unable to get certain access to certain parts of the village. Him being a genin meant he had limited interaction with certain high-value document. But that was not the main thing though. The village security has gotten so heightened that he had to play the long con and remain in the village. The last time he was sent on a mission, he was able to send a message to his master. When he was returning back, a snake had jumped into his bag and gave him back another message to return and stay in the village because trying to escape will only get himself caught if he tried to re-enter. So he had to play the long con inside the village. His master was creating something outside, plotting and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But he knew that Orochimaru would be disappointed. Because of his lack of information gathering, the security was getting so much tighter that it was getting bad for his undercover mission, and he didn't want to get busted, so he had to make sure that he was careful. And being careful meant that he was unable to get to certain information. So he had to lie low as we speak. Time skip. Naruto entered the room as Sai had left a few minutes ago. As he came in to see Mito, she didn't look that happy at all. "What's wrong?" said Naruto. She looked up towards him. "I trust Mizuki-sensei, and I almost got captured. I should have known better," she said to him. "How would you?" said Naruto. "You would have trusted him either way. He was your teacher. He was someone that you were supposed to look up to. Someone that you were to see as a mentor. So don't blame yourself for this." She still had a sad look on her face. "What is wrong?" he said. "Tell me." "You know you can tell me anything," he said to her. "It's just, I don't want to be a burden to you. You're so much stronger than me. What if I become a ninja and all I do is become a burden to you?" He was quiet, causing her to look up at him. "How could you ever say that? You would never, ever be a burden to me. Besides, you're my little sister. It doesn't matter how strong you get. I will always be there to protect and keep you safe. It doesn't matter what happened," he said. Mito looked up with teary eyes. She hugged him. "I love you, big brother," she said. "I love you too," he said, holding her. "Now come on. The others are still waiting for us. You're a genin now," he said. "You're one step closer to achieving your dream." A smile came on her face as her mood seemed to take a complete change. Meanwhile, that was going on. Locked away far deep underground, in one of their cells was Mizuki. The man was sitting down, motionless. Naruto lied, he did not kill him. Inside of his mind though, it was blood-curdling screams. All Mizuki could feel was pain, coursing pain and agony. He was being tortured from the inside out, and every second was agonizing, horrendous pain. Naruto might seem to be one of the caring person in the world at one moment when it came to his family, but another moment he was one of the most ruthless, wicked, corrupted and dark person that has ever existed in reality. And Mizuki was now feeling the effects of that darkness that Naruto had lying right under the surface. Time skip. Mito was surprised when she was introduced to Sai. Sasuke was one of her teammates, but Sai, she never expected him to be one of her teammates. But she met him and he seemed like a nice person. So, it wouldn't be hard for them to become friends. And Kakashi was going to be her sensei. She knew Kakashi quite well. So, she liked her team. Yes, she liked her team very much. However, she wasn't expecting all the D-rank missions. So many D-rank missions. However, now they were home, as she was still annoyed by these. But they wanted to talk to them about something. Both Karin and Mito was sitting down around the dinner table as Naruto was helping Reina place all the food on the table. Once they were done, "What's going on?" said Karin. As this seemed to be rather serious, what they wanted to talk to them about. "Well, there is something that we've been keeping away from you too, that we wanted to tell you guys," Reina said. "Yes," said Naruto. "You see, Naruto and I, we've become an item. We're together," Naruto said. As both Mito and Karin blinked as they looked at one another. "Wait," said Mito. "So that means we're gonna be like real sisters?" "Well, you're jumping pretty far, but..." Reina glanced over towards Naruto. His face was calm and relaxed. "I presume," she said. "That's awesome!" Mito was overjoyed. She was rather happy. They glanced towards Karin. A smile came on her face. "You're the greatest big sis I could ever ask for. And Naruto, after all you've done for us, I already see you like an older brother. So I guess this just makes it official." As the both of them were happy and overjoyed to hear that, the two younger girls already saw each other as sisters. So this now made it cement together, and they were happy about that. This played out a lot better than they thought. Well, the questions came right after. Naruto was rather open with Mito, as he did not lie or keep anything away from her. He told her when she was wrong. He showed her when she was wrong as well. And he also praised her when she was right and correct. So Mito was a lot more in touch with emotions when she asked people deep and rather concerning things about their personal life. So yes, there was a lot of questions. Time skip. Naruto was sitting down. As his root agents, two of them arrived. "Sir, the documentation is finished." "Each and every one of them," said Naruto. "Yes, sir," both of the men said. Naruto had pushed a large amount of resource to finding out the spies that are located within the Hidden Leaf Village. Yes, he spoke to the Hokage about this project that he was going to commence. Naruto had gathered important information as he had a large amount of force focused on the documentation, going through the files of every Konoha citizen and shinobis as well. It was much harder to get the background files on the clan members, but Naruto was now a very powerful individual. And out of all the calculations that has been done over the past few years, yes, this took a very long while. Several names stand out. 6 of these people were not citizens of this village. They were not born here, they did not grew up here at all. However, they fled from their warring village and they got a spot within the village. They must have some sort of proxy within the nation to help them. Naruto ran a backup check on each and every single one of them, but all of them were just running from a worse life to a better one. None of them were rather violent. None of them were spies. However, the last name on the list, Kabuto Yakuji. Now that name brought up some red flags. There was a problem with his story. It is said that he was born in this village. However, the documents that were there, the documents were not authentic. The Hokage had a stamp. There was a file room stamp that had the Hokage initial on them. It was not visible. No, it was not. However, using the machine in the file room, the stamp would become visible. But there was no stamp on Kabuto's paper. And the so-called man that he was mentored by, that he shared a relationship with, his father. This man had a document about his marriage and the wife that he had lost and the son that had came from that wife. Naruto went into deep dive on the wife history. He had to say, it was very convincing. If it was anyone else, they would have been fooled. However, this so-called wife died in the 9-tail attack. The problem was Naruto checked the registry. Every single person down to the last civilian that died in the 9-tail attack was listed on this. And her name was not on it. Naruto went deeper than that though, going into her childhood looking for her parents. And there was a cutoff to the grandparents. Perhaps he believed that no one would go this far. Excellent work, said Naruto. It seems we find one of our spies. As the two ninjas in front of him, they seem rather pleased with their master praising them. Danzo never gave out praises, instead, he gave out punishments. Although, Naruto was not as kind, loving, and kind-hearted all the time. Sometimes they messed up. And this operation, they couldn't afford to have screw-ups or mess up. And Naruto had showed them that. However, he wouldn't just outright kill them for a simple mistake, or put them through hours of torture and punishment. It seemed to be helping with their mental stability though. After all, the cycle of death between their ninjas has dropped drastically. Time skip. Kabuto Yakushi was within his household, as he couldn't afford to gather information, so he had to remain docile for the time being. There was a knock on his door. No, that kind of caught him off guard. The friends that he had created here, gaining popularity in their friend groups, they wouldn't be out this time of night. Kabuto found himself going towards the door, as there was two people standing there. Kabuto Yakushi, yes, he said, acting his, well, status within the village. The Hokage has summoned you. The Hokage? Me? Yes, come with us. Kabuto was not sure what was going on. However, to not draw any suspicion, he followed. However, this meeting, as he thought as he was walking, could not be nothing good. Why would the Hokage summon him? A no-name genin who has not done anything worthy of being done or accomplished. Something did not seem too right about this, when suddenly he heard a click. A Tonto was unsheathed as it swung. Kabuto ducked. Kabuto backpedaled as the other one turned and slashed at him. However, he twists and jabbed the arm before he hit the guy in his stomach. He then flipped over the attack and kicked the other guy. He ran through hand sign before his hands started glow. He had to eliminate these two and get out of here as fast as possible. He rushed towards the down ninja that he just kicked until his wrist was grabbed. Kabuto was shocked speechless as he gazed up into those red eyes. Now how would a genin be this talented? Naruto released him as Kabuto jumped back. Kabuto stepped back in fear. He knew who this was. He heard about his reputation. This was not someone that he could defeat. His wisest choice right now would be to... Kabuto turned, however, Naruto was standing there. Kabuto backpedaled slowly. He had to fight. He couldn't outrun him, and there was nothing that he could use as a distraction. There is no possible way that you can escape. Fight and you will lose. Try to run, you will lose. There is nothing that you can do to escape. We already know who you are. Just give up. Kabuto was not going to take his word though, but he knew that he was screwed. He had to do something. Yes, he was always prepared for situations like these, as it was paper bomb in his coat. Stitched in on the inside, Kabuto quickly pulled and grabbed the paper before he ignited it with chakra and threw it. Kabuto did not hesitate as he took off, trying to use it to cover his escape. However, massive vines erupted out of the ground and blocked his path. He tried to run up them, but they turned into thorns. They tore into his sandals and tear into his feet, causing him to fall as he flipped and landed. The moment he did though, the side of his face was grabbed and his head was slammed into the wall of thorns. He cried in pain. He swung his hand trying to slice Naruto, but Naruto weaved out of the way before he slammed his fist in Kabuto's guts. The wall exploded behind Kabuto as he was sent sailing through. He crashed on the ground hard. Kabuto was struggling to regain his breath, surprised that one fist could do him like this, as he started to cough up blood when he saw a shadow above him as he looked up. As Naruto's boot was the last thing that he saw, as his head slammed against the ground. When Kabuto finally came to, he was inside of a room. Kabuto could not move his arms. The thought of preventing himself from ever saying anything crossed his mind, but his whole body was set in a way. He wasn't sure what it was, but it must be seals. His body was frozen. His eyes could see, but nothing else could move. Kabuto looked around in dread. All he saw was 4 walls. He was sure that there was one behind him, but the other 3 that he could see at the corner of his vision. He felt like screaming as he was stuck in a plain room with no exit. He was stuck. Naruto was a fast learner. He had mastered several qualities over the years. The art of torturing was one of them as well. That is why there was no one troubling Kabuto as we speak. Time skip. Mito had her first mission. Yes, she was going towards the land of Wave. She was going to partake in her first mission, and she was so excited about it. However, Naruto got some information about the land of Wave. The man that he had dealt with not so long ago was vastly more powerful than Gato. However, Gato was a part of his list in clients. The man might seem like just a normal shipping company in the light, but in the dark, he was a part of the same trafficking ring. Naruto did not say anything about this though, because Mito would never be in any real danger. So as she left out that morning, excited to go out of the village, Mito and her team consisting of Sasuke and Sai made their way, Kakashi Sensei along with them as well, as they were talking about the land of Wave and what was it like there with the ninja situation. There was a puddle. Sai noticed a puddle right away though, as 2 ninjas burst out of it. Kakashi allowed them to tear him apart. This was just a ploy. Sasuke did not hesitate as he launched a massive fireball. The 2 of them separated. Mito dashed forward as she created a clone. The clone grabbed her hand as the clone swinged her and launched her. The demon brother would have gone in the air until a strange bird made from ink swooped down, forcing him back down, causing Mito to deliver a brutal punch. She did not stop there though, as she created another clone. It kicked the demon brother in the back of the head. Mito jumped as she punched him under the chin. 2 more clones were created as they kicked him in the ear. The clone grabbed her hand and threw her up. Super devastating barrage. Boom! The man was viciously slammed into the earth with tremendous force. The other demon brother was tied up to a tree. His eyes was blinded by ink. Sasuke had dealt with him quickly, with his eyes out of commission. Kakashi arrived. He was beyond impressed by the group. Sai stand back and use his ink to limit the opponents while the other two tackle them on head first. However, these were the demon brothers that meant this wasn't anything normal. Kakashi tied them up, as the Yonvus would get them. The group spoke to Tazuna. In the end, they decided to continue the mission, sending word back to Konoha. Once they were a distance away, Yonvus appeared out of nowhere and took away the demon brothers, and they were gone. Time skip. The blade came out of nowhere. Kakashi's senses were. They were there though, as he shouted for them to duck, so they did. Zabuza and Mamakai appeared. A distance away watching was 4 of Naruto elite guards. Watching the scene, they would not intervene unless this was something that Kakashi or Sai could not handle. Sasuke was trembling, so was Mito. This was the first time that they were feeling bloodlust like this, and it was terrifying. However, Kakashi assured them that they would be fine, but he got captured though, as that was something that the Yonvus would report back to Naruto, the laziness on Kakashi's part. However, a quick thinking by Sasuke and Mito, as they use the Shadow Clone Jutsu to get beyond Zabuza, attack, and quickly took him out. Kakashi was free and the battle was over rather quickly after that. However, the man's body was not able to handle the stress of the Sharingan, as he promptly passed out. But everything was done by then. The group separated. 2 of the root ninjas went with Mito and gang, while 2 made their way off to where the fake hunter Nin went with Zabuza. Time skip. It was nighttime. Zabuza was still trying to recover from what had happened earlier. However, his body was not able to move just quite yet. It was very stiff. Haku was tending to his wounds, using some herbs. He would need some more though. However, he saw a field earlier that he could use. As Haku was about to put away the basin when suddenly, the person appeared out of nowhere. This level of stealth was beyond either of them. A kunai was placed at Haku's throat. Zabuza tried to reach for his blade, but a kunai was aimed right at his temple. Either of you move, and you're dead. Damn it. Zabuza's eyes narrowed, wondering where the hell these guys came from. These guys were no normal ninjas, and those masks. He's never seen those masks before. Those are not normal Onbu attire masks. So who the hell are these guys? One of them reached as he pulled out a strange weapon. Zabuza knew that weapon, but he just couldn't put his finger on it. Wait. The man thrust it as it stabbed into the wall. The moment that happened, a flash appeared. Appearing out of nowhere was Naruto, as he stood there rather calmly. Zabuza looked at him. It took him a second, but he was able to recognize who this was. His name was quite big around the Elemental Nation, and he saw photographs and portrait of him. While Naruto was diving in the dark and working in the dark, he was also in the light. In the light, he was a proud warrior of Konoha, son of Minato Namikaze, hated by many, respected by many as well. So yes, it wasn't hard to find out who he was after just looking at him. Of all the people I expected to see, I must say, the son of that yellow flash was not one of them. Tuh. And to see that you have that technique of his. Yet I haven't heard anyone say anything about that. Why would you reveal it to me though? Look at your condition. I can kill you right now, and no one would ever know, said Naruto. Haku stiffened. Relax, Naruto said. I didn't come here to end your life. If that was the case, these two would have killed you and I wouldn't have to show my face. The reason I'm here is simple. I have followed your work for some time now. Not just you, many, but Your work has caught my attention a lot more than many others, and I want to enlist you in a couple of projects that I'm doing. A couple of projects that I want a outside view on. You mean an outside person that is not associated with your village? Exactly. You catch on quick, said Naruto. And why the hell would I work as an outside source for your village? Well, for one thing, it is your only choice. Because if you deny what I have to say, you won't live past another minute. And besides, in about 30 seconds, we should be getting results. Results? What are you? 3 ninjas appear outside as they proceeded to enter. As they were holding a duffel bag, they walked over and handed it to Naruto as Naruto reached inside and pulled out the head of Gato as he laid it on the table nearby. Haku was shocked. His time was coming sooner than later. I sent a group there while I came here myself. As for what I was saying, this will not be a force partnership that I want you to agree to. You will be paid handsomely. As Naruto pulled something out and tossed it to him, he caught the bag. Inside was Ryu notes. A whole bunch of it. It was more than he was expecting for this job. The things I want you to do are going to be very dangerous. And besides, another thing, if you come and work for me, your days of running away from the outside forces of your own village will no longer exist. Zabuza raised the eyebrow. And how would you do something like that? I have my ways. Just like how I have my ways to find out that your failed assassination on the Mizukage is the only reason why you're still running away. You failed to kill him when you had the opportunity, and now you're being hunted. However, join me for the time being, until you're able to get back on your feet. After all, I presume you're trying to build up the courage or whatever in order to face Kiri once again, as the man that you were before you left the location. Zabuza was shocked, wondering how this man knew all of this. He should know all of this. As he looked at him, you have 15 seconds to decide. 14, 13, said Naruto, as he kept on counting down. The blade had not been removed from Zabuza's neck throughout all of this, as he looked at Haku. As Naruto reached 3, fine, Zabuza said. I'll do it. Better than just dying here without anyone even knowing about it. Good man, said Naruto. I will be in touch. With that, he was gone. As 3 other ninjas vanished away, one of them remained behind. I have a greater understanding of the medical arts. Would you like me to help you with your wounds, so you won't have to lay bed rest for so long? Zabuza looked at the person in front of him. Fine, he said. The person came over and laid their hands upon him as they started to glow green. Zabuza was confused. This wasn't just medical ninjutsu. They were somehow stimulating his muscles as well, and his nerves. What the hell? This only took around 15 minutes. Your body will still be sore after a while, but at least Zabuza got up. You're able to move freely now. Huh. The person started to walk away. Hey, wait. This boss of yours. How will we stay in touch, he said. I'm not going to be staying here after all. Do not worry. There is nowhere that you can go where he cannot find you. Zabuza didn't know if that was supposed to be positive, but it sounded scary as hell as the person was gone. He looked towards Haku. Zabuza-sama, was that wise to agree to work for that man? I know that it's not my place to question your logics. And I know that we worked for many people in the past. A lot of horrible people, but there is something about him. I know what you're talking about, Haku. I felt it as well. It felt like my insides were breaking down just by looking into those eyes. In the public eye, he's supposed to be the savior and great ninja of Konoha, but he seemed to be worse than the devil itself. Zabuza said, feeling how much his skin crawled when that guy got close to him, and the fact that that person believed that he could find them anywhere that they go was a rather dangerous statement to make. Time skip with Naruto. There was many things that Naruto had in the work. Zabuza was not the only missing nin from another nation that was currently working for Naruto. Of course not, there was many others. Kabuto was not on Hiruzen's radar. Hiruzen knew absolute nothing about what was going on with Kabuto. After all, there were certain things that Naruto had never told Hiruzen about the missing nins that are working for him, about countless missions that he had go on in the darkness. Yes, there was a lot that Naruto was doing. So much. However, it was for the betterment of his family and for Konoha. So it was justified. Time skip. When Kakashi was back on his feet, he started to train them, but as the days go by, they had absolutely no problem. Gato did not show up. This was confusing. Zabuza did not show his face again. They had absolutely no problem. Many of the villagers thought that seeing the Konoha ninjas scare Gato off. As a month passed by without any incident, they rejoiced and cheered that they were finally free. Free of the skirmish that has plagued them for so long. They were free. Time skip. Mito came back, feeling good after her first completed outside mission. She got to test herself, well, maybe just a little bit. But she, Sasuke, and Sai sparred a lot of times. And she also learned several new moves. And also Kakashi was teaching them on elemental manipulation now. She was already aware of a lot of the things that Kakashi was talking about. But he was going further down, realizing that his students were a lot more advanced than he thought. After all, she already knew the Rasengan. And Sasuke was always pushing her to go forward because he wanted to surpass her and she wanted to keep on being above him. They sparred many times and they were either winning each other or the other one coming out on top. As Mito came home and told her family all about the successful mission that she went on, as they sat there and listened, they got some time off, so she and Karen made their way in the streets as they met up with a few others. Some of them were still on missions, but some of their classmates were currently off, so it was a good thing, as Reina and Naruto got to spend some quality time together. Months passed, 3 months to be quite exact. Mito went on 2 more high-rank missions. As she faced off against a guy named Suyin, her and Sasuke were able to defeat him after Kakashi was recalled to the village. Sai faced off against 2 Chunin rank ninjas and defeated the both of them by himself. So that was a huge accomplishment on his part. However, as that was going on, forces were gathering in the shadows. The Raikage, his village and Konoha had a bad connection since the Hayuka incident. However, with the return of the Namikaze siblings, he would like to know everything. Yes, he would like to know what was going on. How much Konoha has grown. They had no information about the village. Konoha's security has gotten so tight that no one could sneak in anymore. So yes, they would like to know what was taking place and what was going on. That is why, at the moment, Naruto was in the council meeting, along with Itachi as well. The other clan ears were there as well. They were discussing the upcoming Chunin exams. The topic was brought up though about Kumo. Kumo and Konoha has never had a stable relationship, so The fact that they were sending their entry inside of Konoha. Yes, it was something to discuss and talk about. Most of this meeting was a truly waste of time because Naruto did not see the point of talking about it when they were not going to cause any changes or anything. In the end, they all agree that they would just have to keep a close eye on them. Denying them access would just lead to something more. Yes, and right now everyone was enjoying the peace. At the end of that meeting, Naruto opened the cell door. Lying on the ground, there he was, Kabuto Yakuji. His eyes were wide open, they were red. Kabuto could not sleep. Whatever was going on with him, it kept his body sustained. He hadn't drank or eaten anything and yet he was still alive after months. Kabuto was going mad, insane. It was torture. What was a minute in reality felt like hours upon hours to him. Darkness. Alone with his thoughts. His mind was starting to play tricks on him. He was hearing sounds. His mind was attacking him. It was torture. Pure torture. So when he finally saw someone after so long, he thought that this was just something tampering with his mind as well. Some sort of illusion. Kabuto couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't stay in here anymore. Who would have thought that one of the best spies would have been broken so easily? Well, what was currently on him was not a normal seal. Yes, it was tampering with his mind and caused him a lot of psychological problems. The sealing art has truly reached a greater level of advancement, as Naruto had broken past the normal barrier that most sealing masters reach, such as Jiraiya, and gone beyond it, far beyond it. Naruto placed 2 fingers to Kabuto's forehead, and the man felt feelings. He felt feelings inside of his legs and arms. His body could move. Kabuto thought that this was a trick. He hated to be locked in here anymore. Kabuto lifted his head as he was about to bring it down on the ground. However, Naruto grabbed him. I'm afraid it's not gonna be that easy. I see. That having you in here for so long has started to driven you mad. Kabuto was looking up at Naruto. No hate, just tiredness in his eyes. He was so tired. Just kill me, he said. I can't take it anymore. Go ahead and kill me, he yelled. If you're even there, if you're even real. Naruto touched him on his forehead once again. The seal tamper with a part of the brain to bring out desires. It's alright, Kabuto. Orochimaru said. Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto said, I'm here now. You've been able to hold out for a long time. Most people would have broken by now. But it's alright. And everything is going towards a plan. So, the joint forces with the sand. I thought that Raza was having second thoughts. Did you kill him, my lord? Kabuto asks. By his view, Orochimaru was telling him everything that he needed to know. Everything is going to be alright. I'm going to set you free. You're going to return back home. Normally, Kabuto would have been able to bypass this tampering with his mind, but at the moment his mind was so weak, so vulnerable. His mind was so exhausted and tired that he was breaking under the stress. Naruto pulled out a photograph, as there was a boy with glasses on it. It was him. Danzo had been with Orochimaru a few years ago. Yes, the both of them had some business to deal with. Orochimaru had found a spy a few years after he had left the village. This photo Danzo had in his things of the young spy. It was Kabuto. Naruto was not fooled by that in the slightest, but the connection between him and Orochimaru, he never knew that it ran that deep. As Naruto got the information that he desired, as he couldn't believe that the Sand would even think about betraying Konoha. Raza was supposed to be a smart man. What was he thinking? However, if he was having second thoughts, That meant there was still a chance. But Orochimaru could have killed him by now. That meant Naruto had to play this very, very carefully. However, he already had the idea though. But guys, be and subscribe right here. For what's the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.